What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dustin Apple, aka White River Rambo, and I need your help. This has suited me for quite a while, and without getting into too much detail, I've been fighting this space for a long time. And, not to let the cat out of the bag, but there are steps being taken to move from this space, but it's going to be a couple years. That's enough about that. So, it's time for me to upgrade this space in an attempt to make it more efficient. And this is where I need your help. In today's video, I'm going to do a little walk around the shop. And I'm going to speed it up in the high speed so it's not so boring to watch, but kind of show you what my day-to-day is. And if you have any kind of recommendations for me to save space, increase efficiency, and, well, just get more out of what I got, I'd love to hear it. Moving forward on YouTube, we're going to do a lot of blog-style videos. And I want your opinion. I want to hear from you in the comments, and I'm not doing this for praise. I want to do it for the community, okay? I want to grow as a creator as well as give you the tools to grow yourself as a fabricator, as a boater, as a sportsman, and we're going to do it together. I think it's high time that I get off the TikToks and come on back to the YouTube. So without further ado, let's do a walk around in my shop. I'm not the most organized person. It's generally controlled chaos, but every fabricator I ever met kind of work like this, so I'm not really going to apologize for it. Underneath this shelf, all the way to the wall, is my materials, okay? Right now, I've probably got somewhere about $10,000 worth of materials there, and various sizes, lengths of structure, and sheet. And then above, up here, is something that I've never really organized or utilized for storage other than just the normal guy stuff, right? Garage stuff. There's oils and paints and, you know, some extra just stuff. Not really even shop related, but it's kind of my stuff. And, well, that kind of goes along with the whole theme to the shop is I live here, but I work here too. And I'm going to try to separate the two a little bit and make my work a little bit more efficient. Anyway, right here I have a vise. I put that vise there when I built the shop, which was 2011, I think. Not too long after that, but I don't use that very often. Something that I do use that is back over here is a chop saw. So one thing that I have been considering is making a small table here to be able to pull material off the rack and set it down on the shelf that I would be cutting at and have my chop saw right here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of room between where the chop saw would be and the end of the building, but there's generally ways around that, and I think that might be something I'm going to look at. The cheap drill press is what it is. It gets used occasionally, but it doesn't have to live there. We'll figure that out. That pretty much does the whole south wall. There's not a lot going on over there. On the north wall, on the other hand, we're going to kind of take our time. Now, as you can see, my man door is covered up most of the time, and I have my tool shelves as well as some heavy equipment that is a pain in the butt to move. Although, it doesn't get moved very often, and it doesn't get used but once every couple of months. This Rogue bender has been a complete asset to my shop, and it's only completed 3 jobs in the last 6 months. So, obviously, it's taking up space. I definitely need something else to do with it, but I have other pieces of equipment similar to size and use that I may have to build a cart for. We'll circle back to that too. So I have 5 tanks. Okay, 2 of them stay on the machine at all times. An argon 75-25, a acetylene tank, and then another large argon. That pretty much takes care of what I need. Although the acetylene has not been touched in like 5 or 6 years. So it's probably time to get rid of that and possibly upgrade to one more large argon tank to prevent my running back and forth to town. As far as my machines go, I have my Everlast TIG, Power TIG 255 with a water cooler. I have my Millermatic 212 on the ground here, the transformer unit that just rolls around. And I just kind of threw this shelf together to be able to hold my TIG rods and my TIG setup. But there's more, okay? So underneath here, I have a plasma cutter. You can even see that. Okay, plasma cutter, and I could utilize that more. Don't use it very often, but I may in the future start using it more. Above me is the stereo, just some, torches to keep them out of the way, random Allen wrench sets, things of that nature. And then on the wall, there's some pry bars, things of that nature, the breaker panel, and then my pegboards. Okay, so my pegboards are everything from pipe clamps to wheel bearings to seals to extra saw blades to my wrench set, my entire wrench set, okay, multiples of everything from metric to standard down there, screwdriver set, my measuring devices, and a lot of my cutoff wheels, herring protection, the logo, just to keep my content tagged. Everybody, recognizes that branding with me. A handful of random, just junk tools, tapes, cutoffs, pliers, files, things of that nature. A small little upgrade that I did not too long ago. All of my 1/4-inch stainless is now in these bins, and Harbor Freight, about $3 or $4 a piece, which is pretty cool. I'm going to build on that some, because right now, right up here at the top of the stairs, you see the red bins? Those suck. And it's up and down the stairs if I need something. Obviously, I always thought Grandpa was a rich man because he had coffee can after coffee can after coffee can of hardware. And I have hoarded hardware my entire life. Well, now I'm to the point to where I need to be able to utilize that hardware, and well, that's why we put all our 1/4-inch down here. I need to expand on that and do some 1024 stuff. But yeah, so everything that is kind of necessity or not a necessity gets pushed upstairs and out of the way. Now, as far as upstairs and out of the way goes, there's a lot of things upstairs. I keep a lot of boating things upstairs, from fuse panels to cutoff switches to switches and switch panels and all kinds of boating accessories, bilge pumps, all the things that if somebody were to pull in here in an emergency and say, hey, I broke this, I busted this, can you fix this, can you help me out? I wanted the ability to say, yeah, sure, no problem, bring it over here, we'll fix it in an hour or two, and get that person on down the road and be an asset to the community. Doesn't happen that way very often, but occasionally it does, and nothing brings me more happiness than being able to help someone in need. The table's getting upgraded, and we'll walk outside here in just a minute, but here's what I've been working with for the last 3-4 years. Just some heavy wood. I put a piece of 14 gauge down just so I would have a metal surface, and then my ground clamp usually lives right here. Underneath there is a 46-inch Husky toolbox, and I keep all of my hand tools in here, okay? All of my sockets, 1/2 inch to 3/8, all of my 1/4-inch and quarter drives, all of my hand clamps and small clamps, some sandpaper and some kind of random abrasion stuff. Sorry for the camera work, guys. And then underneath here, we've got Dremel tools and tap sets and a couple more air-driven, abrasion tools. On this side, all of my major tools that I get used all the time. Okay, the pliers and punches and mics and measuring tools. Hey, I've been looking for that. That actually goes up there with the rest of them. We'll put that up there. And then another die for the rope bender, and then underneath here, my MIG accessories. Okay, there's about 40 pounds of 1 pound spools underneath there. This toolbox over here that I kind of skipped over, wasn't really planning on doing this, but this one has become all of my abrasion tools for my die grinders. Okay, I have a couple of these wire wheels, abrasion disc, mini flat discs, hammers, more mini flat disc, and more die grinders. Been utilizing die grinders quite a bit in the shop over the last year, and then sealants, things of that nature, air chuck fittings, okay? And then the bottom shelf is all rivets and some polishing items. I don't polish that much. Probably needs to go in a tote and go upstairs because I'm only going to get that out every so often. Obviously, my drawers need taken apart and prioritized, but I'm not done yet. There's one more set of drawers. And I totally apologize for the shaky camera work, okay? This is kind of how we're going to, style the channel, but you can see over here we've got a bandsaw, which is just a Bauer bandsaw that I made a table for, and then something that you saw on the channel, the 8-inch with the 2-inch abrasion. I use these quite a bit. Underneath here is all my electrical stuff. First two are complete full of all of my electrical items, heat shrinks, things of that nature. And as we go down, this is all drill bits, every shape and size, as well as some old tap and dies, which probably could be put away. I don't use this. I don't use this at all. Some stuff I buy at Harbor Freight and I bring it home and I think I'll use it, and then I never do. It's kind of like buying baits at the Bass Pro Shop, right? Oh, I like that color. I'll use that. Oh yeah, in that one body of water and that one time, and when the water is that certain color and temperature, I'll throw that color, right? And then that's been in your tackle box for 5 years and you never once even tied it on. Well, Harbor Freight caught me a couple of times. That's the basis of the ground floor of what I work with. Now, over here in the corner, I guess we'll get into the tools. A press, a pipe bender. I've been running propane heat for the last couple of years, and it's driving me freaking nuts because it's expensive, it's noisy, it stinks. Underneath here, we have screws and kind of wood hardware, Bauer charging station, and then the second shelf underneath here, which you can't quite see because it's behind my tubing roller, is dies for that and dies for that. And, well, we've got some other items shoved in the corner. There's some conveyor material, some rubber mat conveyor material that I have had from a previous job that I quit, I don't know, 10 years ago? 8 years ago. Anyway, and then over here's my air compressor setup, which you guys have seen on the channel before. Dryer. I've got an automatic evaporator system. The blanket on the wall is hiding the shop fan, and I'm probably to the warm enough part of the year where I can take that off and start turning my exhaust fan on. And then my 4-foot finger brake, which comes in very handy and has been a big asset to my shop. Now, as you notice, we've been walking around a 2072 throughout this video. That's pretty typical. That is normal for me, okay? And, well, honestly, that's kind of the space that I'm working in most of the time. Now, if the weather's nice, the shop doors are open, sometimes I pull half the boat out and I have half of the area back here to work on things. If I'm doing a lot of sheet work, decks and lids and things of that nature, it is common for me to set up some sawhorses in here or get a little bit more space at my table, cut those items, use my bender, bend those, and, well, just do what I can. I don't have enough room here real estate wise that's flat for me to extend this building or to be able to build on either side of it, or I would have done it already. This is what I got. This is what I got to work with, and we're going to make do. The big question is, how am I going to do it? Before we break down anything else or we start talking about lighting and hand tools, I guess we didn't get that, but all of my power tools are all up there, okay? Grinders, saws, another bandsaw, nibblers, all those things, right? They're all up there, as well as some chainsaw parts. That's pretty much it. I'll tell you what, let's walk out here and I'll show you what I got in the trailer that needs to come in here ASAP. One of the hardest things to do as a small business owner is to realize that even though occasionally you're going to make good money, every time you make a dollar, a portion of that dollar needs to be put back into your business. Sitting right here is 4 Langmeyer tables. Get over here maybe so you can see. So these are 2 foot by 3 foot and they are modular. You get the point. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. We'll definitely do a video on it and put it together. So those 4 tables being modular is going to not only increase my ability as a shop owner, but increase my table space. I will say having a wood table is an asset just as much as having a steel table that's welding. And I am going to miss having a wood workbench that I can, drill into and saw into, and it possibly is going to take a little bit of culture change to me by having a table system that I now have about $4,000 in. Was not really prepared for that. Another upgrade we've had recently, last year, I bought a 6.7 Power Stroke and then I put it on a diet. Obviously, I can't tell you all about that. But as we look forward to upgrading the shop, I need to think about what can I put on a diet, what can I put upstairs, and how do I adjust everything and put my best foot forward without losing very many items in the shop and being more efficient. This table right here is 3 foot by 8 foot, and those tables being 2 foot by 3 foot, I plan on taking them and bolting 3 of them together. So I have something that is 6 foot by 3 foot, and then that 4th table, I'm probably going to put it on one of these tool cabinets and make it a satellite table. That means I'm going to have to make sure that these tables are as close to the same height as possible, and I need to decide if the main table is going to be rollable, as well as decide if it's going to have that tool cabinet underneath it. Putting a tool cabinet underneath your welding table is, yes, it's great to have your tools right there, just like I've had for this for a long time, but on the other hand, it's also kind of faux pas because you need to be able to put your legs underneath there. You need to be able to get to the backside of the peg holes occasionally, and if I ever come to that point and I put my cart underneath there, or my tool cabinet, then that's going to be very, very difficult. I just had an idea. What if I don't connect the two? What if I make my welding tables and then I leave my tool cabinet underneath on rollers? Even though it's not on rollers right now, I absolutely could put it back on rollers. The hardest part about that is I don't know how much room I have. Those tables with the stock legs are supposed to be 34 inches tall, and well, that cabinet's 30. So I don't know if I can pull that off yet, but I may have to try. I also have a new welding machine upstairs and another one in the house. Now, occasionally being a YouTuber, corporations reach out to you and say, hey, would you like one of these machines? So I got a new machine in the house that I'm probably not going to use. But if I would consider getting rid of that big bulky piece of blue, then I might actually use it. It's a cheap machine, but honestly, I don't weld that much steel, and I don't need that much power. So if I take care of the MIG side of this on the spool gun side, then possibly I could get rid of it. And that is what's upstairs. A couple years ago, Peter Zilla from HTP actually showed up at the house and brought me a brand new Pro Pulse 220, which you guys have never seen. And after running into Peter a time or two, we've talked about it and the things that I liked and I disliked, and he gave me another option. I was able to go ahead and buy a push-pull gun with a board for that machine to be able to convert it into a inverter-style synergic pulse push-pull machine with 25-foot leads. It sounds super sexy for my space and building boats, but I've had it since December, and I've not had the opportunity to get it down and mess with, and the little bit of space I have, I didn't want to get that started and spend a couple days trying to figure it out and be frustrated with it and not have the space to, adhere to. So at some point, somehow, I have to create more space and shove more things in it, as well as create more tabletop space and more storage, or just start stacking shit to the ceiling and creating more floor space the only way I know how, because that's pretty much what the inside of my house looks like. I don't ever throw anything away, from clothes to bows to anything. I start stacking it, and sooner or later I restack it until I can't stack it any higher anymore. So I guess I'm a hoarder when it comes to sportsman activities, and well, here I am. One other thing that as I look up, I probably could touch on, the ceiling up here, I have a beam system. That beam and then that beam right there is two 2x12s, I guess, bolted together. And then it has my chain hoist. I have 4 chain hoists. I guess I have 6, but occasionally I have to lift and sometimes rotisserie a boat hull, and well, I can't obstruct those items and make sure that they are accessible when they need to be. One other thing that I can think of right now that we didn't talk about, right there, there's a bunch of clamps. Well, I also have clamps right there in that drawer, as you remember. Occasionally I have clamps hanging from here, and sometimes I have some magnets and clamping devices there, and then I also have a 2x4 or whatever that I hang those cheap clamps on back there. With the tools that I have for the welding table, I now have like 28 more clamps to go with the welding table. So a big thing that I'm going to have to focus on when I decide to bring the welding table in here and build it is obviously going to be clamp storage accessibility within arm's reach and be able to keep them out of the way. So, if you guys have any ideas, please drop them in the comments. I don't care how long it is or how many comments you need to drop. I want to hear the storage items that you love. And as always, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you can tag me in your own personal video with the hashtag White River Rambo or at White River Rambo on any of those platforms. Look, summer around here is going to be complete chaos. It's kind of normal, I guess, but I'm bringing you along. So don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and help me help you. The better this turns out, the more efficient I can create videos as well as complete customers' jobs and, well, spend more time out on the water. As always, shoot straight, shoot off, and don't forget to wear the personal flotation devices and tree stand harnesses while you're out there chasing God's critters. I'm White River Rambo. I'll see y'all on the next one.